I think we have to acknowledge that like people become great performers by performing.
And it's just so astounding to me how many people lose track of those things and they're just like, I'm just here to dance. Why are you wasting my time and my energy? And it's like, okay, fine, go somewhere else then.
There was a lot of like, ooh, what are they doing there? Let's rewatch that 10 seconds like 30 times in a row.
All right.
We're back for another episode of
Staying Grounded
with John, Melody, and Amanda.
Yay!
Sorry, John, Amanda, and Melody, and it has to be in that order because we are the
Jam team.
That's right. It's gonna stick.
Okay. There you guys go with that.
2 out of 3. We're getting there. So
All
today's
right.
topic, I'm actually very glad we're finally touching on this because this is such a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Tango performances, yay or nay?
Okay. And also how to not be rude during them.
Well, and then throughout, yes. But first,
if you're just listening, I have my irritated face on. Okay.
It's a very scary face.
Tango performances, yay.
Yay, John?
Yay! Next episode.
We're done.
Okay. All right. Okay. So why are we talking about this? Because there are people that will skip a milonga if there's a performance, or there are people that will go to the milonga and during the performance, they're looking at their phone, they're making bad faces.
And Melody knows, guys, because she's recording all of y'all.
I'm recording from every angle. Okay. But seriously, let's talk about this because like the first performance we recorded.
Okay, wait, but real quick, like just for all you guys watching, okay? We recorded performances and I have totally zoomed in on individual people and been like, what face are they making?
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right. Well, okay. But also sometimes you can see in their faces how inspired they are. And that is really, really cool.
Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
Why do some people hate performances in a milonga?
Okay. Because they say it crashes the energy, or to them, they're like, I paid to come here to dance. And this is about me. Okay. I think often this is some kind of idea that comes into their head maybe after year 4. I don't think that's in their head.
In the beginning.
I think that when they come and they're like, ooh, performance, I'm inspired, right? And I think like, or it's something that happens in their mind when they're like, ooh, I just don't like this kind of tango, right? Or I don't like stage tango. I don't like choreo. I don't like blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Or maybe they're just like, why am I watching this couple perform? I'm a better dancer. I for sure know that that's some of it as well. I think we have to acknowledge that like people become great performers by performing.
Yes. Okay. Before we even go there, it's like it already hits a nerve point, which is, again, tango, you're not coming to the milonga to dance for 4 or 5 hours straight. Like, you're coming to socialize. This is a social activity.
Some people.
You should be coming to the milonga, let me reframe, to socialize, to meet people, to meet up with people. Sometimes milongas, you come to support people. And I see performances as doing several things. One, supporting the couples that are carrying tango around the world and making sure they continue to like get more people involved. Like, why would we be so against that? I also see performances as a way to be inspired by a moment of creativity, or to just feel a certain feeling that maybe sometimes it's just as nice to watch tango when you're in the milonga than always be the one dancing it. It's nice to see how other people express it. And it's just so astounding to me how many people lose track of those things and they're just like, I'm just here to dance. Why are you wasting my time and my energy? And it's like, okay, fine, go somewhere else then. Like, I don't know. Another pet peeve of mine, seriously.
Okay, well, so
hold on. Wait. Do you also think that like part of it is kind of like what we talked about in the other episode where people
are saying that's not tango?
Yes, they have in their head an idea of what.
Well, and then when they do get to watching the performance, yes, it's too choreographed for me. It's not social enough because I want to see them social dancing. Then watch them in the milonga. This is not the time for social dancing. Like, it's not a social dancing moment. It's a performance that
But,
has a
well,
certain gravity behind it.
Right. But I think the other thing that I loved what John Piero said when he was on the podcast, and he said, like, in a performance, I might be trying to highlight one specific part of the dance. Maybe this performance was about the embrace, or this was, right? And I think it gives us the room to experience different pieces of tango. It gives us room to like see musicality in a way that we're like, oh, I've never heard that song that way before by seeing it visually. I think it inspires us. I think it also gives us room to be like the people that are saying like, I don't like these performances are people that usually have been dancing for quite a while and they are so shut off to the possibility there might be something they don't know. It's ego. Let's call it what it is. It is ego that is saying, I'm rejecting this, right? Even let's say we have a dancer who's been dancing for 1 year. They're still new and they're relatively inexperienced. Like if we put them out to perform, I think we should relish in that. Relish in like they're experiencing something new. We get to experience it with them. We get to see something that every performance is different. It's tango. Right? Even if they're doing the same choreo, it's still going to be different. It's tango, right? I think that there's beauty in it, and I think we're shutting ourselves off. And I think that as far as etiquette goes, you would not go and watch a performance with somebody on stage and stare at your phone. Like, God forbid.
Go hide. Leave the room.
Yeah, leave.
If
Go
you
somewhere
absolutely
else,
can't
please.
handle it.
Yes. Yeah, and certainly don't like sit in the front row and then move one song in. Like, I'm just saying, as somebody who's like then trying to edit these videos and there's a big empty seat in the front of the row
That wasn't
like,
there before.
That wasn't there before.
I mean,
and put your phone down.
And it's not to say, again, right? People have their preferences. And sometimes you are watching a performance that you don't necessarily care for, right? You didn't go out that night to necessarily go watch a performance. It's not like you went to the ballet or you went to like a comedy show, right? You didn't choose that performance. You just went to go out. Maybe there happens to be a performance. Let's say you don't like the performance. You don't care for the dance. You don't care for the style. You don't care for the music. You can still be respectful.
Yes.
You can still respect
people,
that people are putting their heart and soul out on the floor, you know?
In a very
like you don't have
way.
to physically show your like keep that for yourself and for your friends later if you want to go gossip, but
don't be a dick.
Yes, thank
what
you.
John said.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And actually I think there are some performances that are opposite from crashing the milonga energy. Some performances you leave, crashing in a different way. After some performances you're like, I'm done. I don't need to get on the dance floor now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just I need to go outside and like take a breather after watching that, right? Like, why are we so extra?
I will say to the thing you said earlier, where some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to see their performance tango. I want to see their social tango." I think that's actually a little disrespectful. Yes, sure, watch a little bit, but like the teacher is a person too. And tango, while they're at work sometimes they're not. And they also want to enjoy tango. And I think giving people space to have their own private moments on the dance floor is a really nice thing to do. So like, don't go to a milonga when a maestro is not on and not working and then expect that you're going to learn from them from their social dancing. Like give them their own space. Like they might go into the second lane, as you said, so they can dance privately. Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. So like, I think like they are putting themselves out there. This is your moment to learn from them and their performance and to be inspired. And so like, give that moment what it needs so that they can have their own private moment of dancing as well.
I think another part about performances that people don't get, but we all enjoy. How do you know about things happening all around the world? Right? You wait for the big events, the big festival that just happened. You wait for the performance videos to come out to see what it was like, right?
Absolutely.
It's also like a business card sometimes, a calling card for the teachers. When you promote teachers, because who can deny wanting to have teachers? But if you haven't learned from them or you haven't seen them, typically we use their performance videos to also give you an idea of what they're like. Yeah. In addition to descriptive words, which nobody ever reads, about what their actual teaching style, which is what you really care about, right?
Yes.
So, and of course, it doesn't mean to say, I will say there's a caveat, the way a teacher performs isn't always reflective necessarily of like the way what they're teaching per se. Because like you said, they might be showing something, or they might be experimenting with something in that moment in time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like they're going to teach you all of those things.
Yes.
So it can mean, but it doesn't have to mean. So like don't write people off either just because of like certain ways that they perform per se. Like see how they dance. If you get the chance, feel how they dance, and then you'll know like someone that I'd like to work with.
Yes. Well, I also think, again, it's ego. If you're like, you've been dancing even 5 years, 10 years, I think there's still room to learn, especially from people who have made tango their life. There's a big difference between dancing a couple times socially and being a full-time maestro who is traveling and learning and figuring out what works and doesn't work with students over and over and over, like living it and breathing it day in and day out. You develop expertise and you become a master because you're living it. So like if you're like, oh, I've been dancing 15 years, but you've been dancing socially and you stopped taking classes year 3 with the same group of people, like there is so much to learn from maestros. So it's just an ego thing. Like put your ego in a little bucket, carry it outside and try to get rid of it for a little while and be open to what you can learn from
Rather,
people.
yeah, just leave it at the door before you come in.
Yeah, well.
Nobody needs that energy at any time in the night.
No.
Or like in just ever, like in general. It's not even just tango, but
Yes.
but also I think so for me, you know, I keep saying how I started tango in a small town. Performances was how I kind of educated myself on tango outside of like my tiny little community, right? Like I didn't have access to all the teachers, or I didn't know all the teachers, and being able to watch the performances on YouTube was a big deal. There was a lot of like, ooh, what are they doing there? Let's rewatch that 10 seconds like 30 times in a row until have some idea of what's going on, or you know.
We still do that.
Yeah. Or like sorry a minute. Like I remember when I first started, like I heard of this mythical step, the ocho cortado. And I was like, what is this? And then I found
you regret it.
I found one video on YouTube, and I was like, I couldn't like, okay, wait, is that part of the ocho cortado, or is that part? I couldn't figure out. But anyway, there was a lot of that going on, and I think there are a lot of people that would appreciate, like, and obviously these are not people physically there, but having that recording of a video or a recording of a performance is so valuable to us small town dancers. You know, they're desperate for this, any you know, drip of tango from, you know, these mythical milongas, right?
Totally agree. So basically, if you're that person and it's time and the announcements come up and the teachers are introduced, recognize that it's not about you in this moment. We're highlighting someone who is like a tango promoter. Essentially, that's how I think of teachers, because they're continuously promoting tango around the world for us. We're celebrating these tango professionals who continue to carry our craft. You're going to be part of the video that folks like John in small towns, or just in any town around the world, is looking forward to seeing and you know, like learning from. So try to find something, even if you don't like the performance. Try to find something about the movements, anything that you could say that was enjoyable. And if you can't, hide, please. Leave the room.
Yeah, please do.
Don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't bring your bad energy. Don't bring
Yeah.
like, I can't tell you the number of expressions where we can see people judging them as they're performing, which is just like, even outside of tango, that's just bad taste. That's just, don't be a dick, as John says, right? But I think about the fact that like this one performance may be something that inspires somebody who has never danced to try this thing because they saw a moment, or it could lead to a greater density of dancers across the world because it's inspiring people in a small town, or it could lead to the growth of your own community that may plateau because we plateau at some point if we don't have fresh ideas and this evolution of tango coming in to inspire us.
Yeah. Like no, like you said, like it's ego, and it's important for us, and we never know when this may happen, to have like these, you know, North Star moments where we see something and it's like, oh, this is like a direction that I'm interested in, I want to follow, and and I think a performance can definitely be part of that. But I think also, and I keep talking about like recordings of performances not actually being there, but like there are also a lot of times when I watch a performance and there's like a nostalgia factor to it when it's like, oh, that's so and so
Oh,
from that
that's
event, and
true.
it's like there's like it feels like I get the warm and fuzzies
Yeah.
because there are all these good memories associated with some event. So there's definitely that part of it as well. It's just kind of like capturing history.
Yeah. That part actually I think that we discount sometimes, that maybe because we're like very focused on like the current content, especially with social media, it's like constantly coming. But then if we go back to revisit, and I know for me, like this is something that I live every day, that visual, that imagery is our history. And especially as like someday people are going to pass away. Like
Yeah.
I photographed the performance of the last performance of Julio Balmaceda and Karina de la Rosa when they stopped performing together, and that was like, now that is part of tango history. He's since passed, right? So like we are very focused on ourselves in this moment, but like if we can step back and see it, that like
Yeah.
this is a piece of tango history, even if it's a small performance in
Yeah.
Vienna, Virginia, right?
I want to draw one more analogy, and I think it goes back again to like people not having the right mindset when they come into the milonga. I think sometimes it's a little similar to when organizers also take a break to make announcements, and people have the same reaction, right? It's like, oh God, it's gonna take forever.
Not getting a tanda.
Right. And it's like, do you realize like one of my favorite people, Juan Pablo at La Nacional, like I love the announcements that he makes during La Nacional, right? Thursday nights in New York. Because he recognizes all the teachers in the room, all the organizers. It's such a great way. And I know people who already, yes, even if you're local and you're familiar with all these people, maybe it's not new information to you, but it's just so beautiful to walk into the room and see so many different people being recognized for helping to contribute to the tango community.
Yeah.
Even if it takes 5 to 10 minutes, even if it takes 10 to 15 minutes, let it be. Like, enjoy that moment. Let those people be celebrated for the work that they put into tango, even if it's not what you care about necessarily. And I really admire the organizers who do that, because they're also showing you it's okay to have this diversity in tango. Like, I'm not hoarding everything for me in my event. Look, I'm showing you other people. You can go to other people's milongas.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of the pie getting bigger,
Yeah.
So I think it's a similar idea when, whether you're being paused for a performance or for announcements, it's like, people need to be thanked. There's so much work that goes into big events, especially. Yes, sometimes the thank yous go on and on, but there's so much effort. Like, those volunteers, they should be recognized. You don't care about it because for the most part things run smoothly because there's an army of people behind the stage putting it together. So it's like, just acknowledge this is a moment to celebrate the things that go behind the scene or the things that make tango keep like going on.
Yes. Which I'll just put out a little plug for anybody in the Northern Virginia area. If you want to come and volunteer with Vienna Tango School, we will accept your volunteering. And just saying, because like we are a little handicapped by our own bandwidth, right? And so the more people that can come and help, we're trying to grow this thing. And to your point, like you wouldn't be at that milonga unless somebody was out there trying to grow the community big enough, right? So just let's just all be grateful for what exists and also how it does exist. Okay, we have one last question. If performances disappeared, would that affect the identity of
Big
tango?
time. I think it would slow progress. I mean, you don't see things happening as much. You have to wait until that person shows up in your community before you're even aware of them.
Yeah.
Like, it would slow progress. It would slow the learning progress. It would slow down like marketing, right? You need video footage of people dancing tango.
Yes.
And I think
It'd be very detrimental to beginners.
It would. Yeah, I think
already our beginners are like, oh, they were watching because we have a moment where we have like the next
demo.
class.
Oh yeah.
And then they're waiting for the practica and they'll like be watching tango videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I think like what John said about being a North Star, like just even knowing what's possible, right? It continues to push us. I think the evolution would slow because well, it just would. Like we wouldn't ever see, and we'd become very insular, and we would become even more stuck in our ways of like what tango is
Right.
and what tango is not.
And besides, what are you gonna have to gossip about? You're not gonna have the video footage to be like, oh, look what they did there. See, but like you said, the history, you're gonna lose some of that
Yeah.
history, like being able to go back and watch like the old videos of like, oh wow, their names just slipped my mind.
Oh, there's one I love of Geraldine Rojas.
I was
and
about to Javier and Geraldine.
Rodriguez.
Yep.
Oh, they're milonga. Oh, and
Yep.
this is like way before my time,
Yep.
but I know that that's part of history,
Yeah.
right? Or was it El Pupo, the guy?
Mhm.
Yeah, like those crazy ganchos.
Or the fun ones like the Nico and Herman when they were the one where they were clowns.
Oh,
Yeah,
dancing together.
yeah. I mean, this is all. It's fascinating. So yeah, I think we would lose a big piece of tango identity if we got rid of performances. So all right,
Also, how do you showcase tango to the world? I mean, tango only grew
yeah.
because people went out there into the world and they did performances and other people saw it and they're like, oh, I want to try this. Like, that's a huge part of our history of how tango left Argentina, you know?
Yes.
On
yeah.
a broader
actually that
scale.
that is a really, really good point. Tango came to the US at least with a scenario. It was
Yes.
tango performances that made Americans aware. Because how else, right? Like how else would you get
Yeah.
people inspired to do it? So yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but
So stop complaining, people.
Yeah.
End of story.
And I also, I mean, I know this stuff is like people cringe, but like even Argentine tango and like Dancing with the Stars, I mean, it's all part of that, and you watching Melody,
Moulin Rouge, yeah.
Tango and Moulin Rouge, it's all,
Yeah.
that the vectors to getting into it, right? So
When you bring it to-
It builds awareness. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, okay. All right. So we're going to stop making faces, even if we don't like the performance, right? We're going to be kind people.
we're going to support.
We're going to support. And we're going to also acknowledge, even if this is somebody brand new and maybe this doesn't thrill us, we also are just going to acknowledge like part of the way people become incredible performers is by performing in front of people. So maybe my witnessing this is helping them become better artists as well.
Yeah.
So maybe for the people, the ego is a piece that can stroke their ego enough. I don't know.
All right, folks.
All right. Yeah.
You heard it here.
Leave us some comments. Tell us what you think. Are you still going to avoid milongas when there's a performance, if that is what you do?
Boo. Shame on you.
All right, like and subscribe.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Staying Grounded. If you like this episode, please subscribe and give us a like. We would love to hear from you in the comments, and we'll see you next time.